guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for meeting with me. For tonight I have a tutorial for this makeup, and I'm adding just a little something extra. I'm adding an accent. I'm just trying it, so let's see how it turns out. Thank you very much one more time for being here, and let's begin. So the first thing that you're going to do is to apply some moisturizer cream. Here we go again. Moisturizing cream. Yes, I already used this. I already applied the moisturizing cream, so I'm not going to do it one more time. And tonight I'm going to be doing the eyes first before I do the rest of the skin, and that is because I'm going to be using, as you saw, I'm going to be using some glitters and pigments, and it's going to be easier to clean if there is any fallout. Alright, so I'm going to be using a concealer first on the eyelids, of course. And with my fingers I'm going to blend it out. And I'm going to be using this palette. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. Excuse my palette. I don't know what happened. I tried to clean it several times, but this material, I think it is, how do you say that? Cardboard? Is that how you say it? This material is stained. I have been rubbing alcohol and some other products to sanitize your brushes and things like that, and I have been trying to clean it. I haven't been able to do so, but okay. I'm going to be using some of these colors that some of these browns that has a reddish undertone, because your eyes are going to stand out as opposed to the makeup. Yes, the makeup is going to be beautiful, but the color of your eyes are going to be the protagonist. Okay, people usually tell you, oh, you have green eyes, green makeup or blue makeup is going to look so beautiful on you. Girl, no. You know why? Because if you see the color wheel, is that how you say it? You're going to see that green is not the complementary color of green, and blue, no, not so much, because I think, in my opinion, the color of the makeup is going to be competing with the color of your eyes, and your eyes are not going to stand out. Maybe the makeup is going to stand out because they are like very vibrant colors, but they're going to make the color of your eyes like a little bit, how do you say, like dim? Is that how you say? Well, you know what I mean. They are not going to be as prominent as they usually do when you use reddish colors. The first thing that I'm going to do is to warm up the crease, and for that I'm going to be using my contour. Fantastic contour. This is by Catrice, and this is a little bit like shimmery. It doesn't matter if you go past here, because you're going to clean it afterwards. One of the good things about starting with your eyes. And I'm going to go here, like up, just a little bit, not all the way to the corner of your eyes, to the inner corner specifically. And I'm going to do just a little bit here, just a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to pick up a little bit of this color, and I'm going to apply it on the outer corner with a medium-sized brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit, top of the axis, and start applying on the outer V. I'm going to be checking over and over again, but I'm going to close to apply the eyeshadow, of course, but I'm going to be checking with my eyes open to see exactly where I am applying it and how far I am extending it and blending it out. And I'm going to be blending it out in the direction of my temple, and then a little bit upwards and inwards to the center of the eye, in all the directions, but remaining in this area. All right, so it does look a little bit infectious. Yes, it does. It normally happens when you wear reddish makeup, but it's going to get better, I promise. All right, so with an even smaller fluffy brush, we're going to pick up another color, a darker color. This time we are going to apply this one. This is a little bit less reddish, and I would say it's a little bit more neutral maybe, but it is still warm. And we're going to apply it in the outer V, but in a smaller area. The darker the color, the smaller the area. Top of the axis, and let's start. Little by little, you're going to start applying it and making it look a little bit darker anytime. I think I want it a little bit more reddish, so I'm going to pick up a red color. This is not going to be like a reddish brown. It's going to be more like a red, like a wine color. Yes, much better. And now with an even smaller brush, detailed and flat brush, I'm going to pick up a darker and even darker brown. I'm going to pick up, I don't know if this one or maybe this one. I think I'm going to go with this one. Let's see how it turns out. And I'm going to go pretty close to the lash line, but just in the corner. Then I'm going to blend it out upward, but just a little bit. That is ready, and I'm going to move to the shimmer. I'm going to be applying a mixture of these three. And again, I'm going to be using my fingers because, as usual, glitters and shimmers, they apply better when you use your fingers and not a brush. I'm going to go a little bit over the crease. And now we can move on to the pigment. This is by the brand Nava. And this is, the shade is Atenea. You're going to use the fluffiest brush that you have. Very carefully you're going to open. Alright. Look at that, it's so pretty. When I was buying this pigment, I wanted to see the color, and I took the tester and I was trying to open it very carefully. Well, it was not enough, and it just went flying. I was so embarrassed, like you have no idea. They didn't charge me because it was a tester, but in any way I was mortified. Alright, I'm going to pick up just a little bit and I'm going to start applying it. Alright, and now we are going to clean. We are going to clean with micellar water and this, how do you say, like one, like a disc? No, a pad, a cotton pad. Yes, a cotton pad. One of these. I'm going to wrap the cotton pad around my finger, and then I'm going to do this. Moving on to the skin, as usual, I'm not going to apply a heavy foundation. This is a Maybelline, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of moisturizing cream. Just this much. Just like that. And I'm going to mix it. And now with a big fluffy brush, I'm going to pick up, and then I'm going to in a clean part of the plate, I'm going to do this rotating motion. That is to cover all the bristles uniformly. Is that a word in English? Uniformly. Well, evenly. And then I'm going to start applying it. I'm going to avoid going over the under eye area because I'm going to apply concealers there, and I don't want to make it look heavy. Foundation ready. Now let's apply the blush. I'm going to apply some liquid blush. I'm going to be using this by ELF in the shade Rosé usually. And I'm not going to apply it doing directly onto the skin. I'm not going to do the dotting thing. I think it looks patchy, but maybe it's just a me thing and you can actually know how to make it work, but I don't. So I just these 3 dots, and with a fluffy brush I'm going to do this rotating motion again, and let's apply it. I like going a little bit on the under eye area. Usually people say avoid it, but I like doing that. Alright. And then let's move on to the contour. And I'm going to apply this cream contour. This is by Maybelline. I think this is discontinued. And I'm going to apply directly onto the skin this time. And you have to work really fast because it dries fast as well. Around my forehead. And then I'm going to move on to the concealer. I'm going to be using this time this one. This is by a Colombian brand, Atenea. This is a little bit thick, and it's not necessarily the consistency that I like, but I'm going to use it anyway. And it's a little bit too like light for me, but okay, let's see if we can make it work. And now I'm going to set everything. I'm going to set the blush with powder blush, the contour with powder contour, and the rest of the face with just a translucent powder. There we go. And now the blush. For powder blush, I'm going to be using this one. This is by Natura. It's pink. No, it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a mixture of pink and maybe a little bit of orangey, but it's just like a fantastic mixture of both colors. And they are pearls. They are super pigmented, so I'm going to make sure to tap off the excess. Now a little bit of highlighter, and then we'll move on to the translucent powder. I don't know which one to use because I have this pinkish beautiful one and this one is like really pearlish. I think I'm going to combine both of them. Now on the nose, and now let's move on to the translucent powder. I'm gonna be using this one by Atenea, and I'm going to start setting the center of my forehead. Remember to blend the concealer first. You can use a sponge or a brush or your fingers and just tap 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 tap. And without looking down, I'm going to set it. Alright, and moving on to the lower lash line, I'm going to use a small kind of fluffy brush and a flat brush, and with the contour powder I'm going to pick up a little bit and I'm going to go along the lash line. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now with the same brush I'm going to pick up one of the darker colors that I used, and that is from the palette, from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to do the same thing but very close to the lash line. And now with a flat brush of precision I'm going to pick one of the darker colors, and even darker, not the darkest but the one that we used previous to that one, very very close to the lash line. Now moving on to the mascara, let's apply 2 coats. And now let's move on to the brows. As always, I'm going to use this brow gel by Melu. First off, opposite to the direction of the hair growth, and then in the direction of the hair growth. Now let's finish the eyebrows with my favorite pencil. This is a ashy brown, very kind of soft because it's not too dark. I mean, you can go a little bit darker with this one. You just have to press the pencil a little bit harder onto the skin to get a darker look. But if you don't do that, then it's going to be really, really soft. I usually never like this eyebrow, but I'm liking it this time. I think that this one ended up looking so straight. I'm not sure if I like it, but I don't think it looks that bad anyway. Alright, I'm just gonna leave it there. Alright guys, so thank you very much. This is the final look. I hope you enjoyed watching it as I enjoyed doing it. Thank you very much and see you next time.